I wanted to actually talk about that a little bit. You, I mean, I kind of have been following you in behind the scenes, like, stalking you a little and just like, yes, Lexi, yeah, because I remember those days when you were the clarinetist and your identity was kind of, I like to sing, and you loved being with the singers. And I
I
saw you
did.
as a singer. I didn't see you as a clarinetist. I mean, I knew you were a
Yeah.
clarinetist and I knew that's what your major was, but I was
Yep.
like, but shouldn't she be a singer? I mean, I thought that
Yeah.
because you just seemed like a singer, but I know that you, I mean, you were young, you were struggling with the identity of that you were supposed to be a clarinetist because I have a scholarship, I should be a clarinetist. But I think when you take on something that other people thought you weren't going to be, even though like
Yep.
in the background, I mean, I don't know about me, I don't know about others, but I know about me, and I'm sure other people thought the same thing as I did, which was she should just be a singer. You know, but I mean, when you're young like that, you don't judge, you just kind of you let people be who they are, and
Right.
you figure it out as you go, and you find the right mentors like you had, and you just, you work harder for it because
This
you
was the
struggle so
hardest thing
much.
I ever did. This was the hardest thing I've ever done, and it has made me grow and change and become. It has allowed me to become who I've always been.
Right, you discovered, like, it wasn't, you didn't become something,
I no.
you dug in and reached in, and
Yes.
it poured out of you, and it is the most fulfilling feeling when you've worked so hard at something and you get your name, in a play, or you get your name in opera news, or you get your name,
It's
in
weird.
places that you
It's really
never
weird.
imagined.
It's really, really weird.
It is, but
I
it's,
still like,
I know,
is
and
that
that's the whole imposter syndrome, which I know that we'll get. I do want to get to that because, but I still want to talk about like the big
no?
stuff.
Yeah,
I
talk about whatever you want. I'm
want
happy.
you, I want you to talk about the big stuff. I want you to talk about things like, I remember just like, oh, hey, I've been featured in Opera News. That was just like last year, 2 years ago, something like that. Is it longer ago?
I've had no. That was just this past year. I was featured as one of the up and coming
Right.
debuts. I was debuting at the Met, and I was one of the people that they were excited to see debut at the Met for Rosenkavalier. I wasn't in a I wasn't in a huge role. I was doing Marianne de Leitmetzerin, but it was apparently big enough news to make it to Opera News. So I'll take it. And I've had quite a few reviews through Des Moines Metro Opera there, and report Opera Maine now, and which is Portland Port Opera when I was there for the
Mhm.
Tosca I did with, of all people, Jim Morris. It was my Scarpia. He was my third Scarpia, which was insane to sing with Wotan, the most iconic Wotan of all times, as being your third Scarpia. Like, wait, what?
So
So
for you, I mean, to be, well, first of all, those are the two magazines that when I was young, in my 20s, I would follow and I subscribed to were Opera News and Classical Singer, right? Which is how I
absolutely.
found out about the Classical Singer convention. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go to this. And of course you didn't. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the lights.
And now you can see how horrible I look. Oh, great. Let's
You
turn
look
it back on.
gorgeous, darling. Gorgeous. You do, you do. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
listen. When you know what? Often I will like post videos and pictures of me without makeup and without my hair, and because we wear so much makeup and the costumes and everything looks so glamorous, and people don't see us as real people. And
I'm just a human.
I mean, we're a human being and this is our job and we love it. And
Yep.
this is what I look like without makeup. And I don't care if the whole world sees it.
Yep.
So,
That's
um,
usually me.
that's good. I think it's wonderful. So the Classical Singer magazine and Opera News were very, very, very much the two magazines that every singer read, front cover
Oh,
to back cover.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so, the fact that here you are. I mean, I remember reading about Renee Fleming and like all the people who were big when I was just starting to emerge as well.
Yeah.
Of course I didn't go the opera route like I thought I would, but I loved it in the moment, and your icon, you're going to be another icon, that, and when you make it into opera news like that, you're suddenly an icon in the world of opera. I know that you don't believe it, but I'm telling you this, Lexi, you are now an icon in the world of opera, and young singers will read your article about you and say, who's Lexi, who's Alexandra LoBianco? And they want to know more, because especially when you have a story of adversity, and I remember reading Renee Fleming's life story, and she talks about it, and she was an article in Opera News 15 years ago, but I remember reading that. Do you remember that?
I lost you there for a second because we went to Wi-Fi again because everything turned back on. So I apologize.
Okay. That's okay. Well, you can watch it later. But I was going to say, like, when you have a life of adversity, and I remember reading about Renee Fleming and similar stories. She would audition for the Met Young Artists, and they said, you're never going to be a singer or an opera singer. You should just stick with jazz, because she was singing in jazz bands. And I was like, I'm singing in bands.
I know.
Doing the operas. I was thinking, I identified with Renee Fleming so much, because she just, like her first season at the Met, I think she took on 10 roles.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, because she was so scared, and she had also that, that imposter syndrome, where she thought,
Totally.
if I might get fired, so I'm going to take on every single role I possibly can in one season. And you know what I mean? Like, or in her first contract or something like that. Maybe not one season.
Absolutely.
But she's one of the most iconic operas and dramatic soprano. Like, she's one of the most iconic opera singers of our era now.
Yes.
And you have the potential for that too.
That all of that potential there, I feel is not up to me. That potential is up to how people respond to the work I do.
And your personal story, who you are, what you have accomplished, what you have gone through adversity, or through life choices,
Yeah. Been a lot. It has been a lot, that is for sure.